the Knights are not an ethnic group. And my response to that is the Chiefs are not an ethnic group either, right? Like, because they said these things. Like, you said Knights, Trojans, those are cowboys, those are not races, those are not ethnic groups. I'm like, dude, Kansas City Chiefs is the same thing. It's a role in Native American society that some people held, and it's kind of like a cultural reference, right? Same story, same exact story with Knights. That's a role traditionally that was held in past European white societies that is a cultural reference. So that the left does this a lot. If you notice, they will lump entire races that are very actually diverse and different into one group. And you see this, like, with Native Americans, right? It's like you're talking about a very diverse group of people, so many different tribes basically across the country. They all have these different cultures, and yet you notice, for the purpose of social justice, it's all lumped into this one singular conglomerate where, like, it's all the same. And I guess the same thing is true with Asians, right? They're all, you know what, since on average they all make more money than the whites, let's all treat them the same.
Of course, and you mentioned cultural appropriation there. I want to get into that with you, because this is something that you've been attacked for. Again, seems like you've been attacked for everything at this point, and you're already so young. Specifically, this was pertaining to sports mascots, and you had a really good video about this, I thought, and this comes close to home here in Canada. And so I want to play that, and then we'll maybe have a meeting of the minds on that. Go ahead and play that one, Justin.
So I've been getting some heat about my video on the name Kansas City Chiefs. This person says, well, no other race or ethnic group in their culture is culturally accepted as mascots. But dude, literally, what are you talking about? Minnesota Vikings, Boston Celtics, Dallas Cowboys, New Orleans Saints. Oh, and let's go down to college mascots too. USC Trojans, UCF Knights, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm surprised nobody has called this mascot racist yet, but it's probably because it's a white guy. Oklahoma Sooners, UCSB Gauchos, UPenn Quakers, Louisiana Monroe Ragin' Cajuns, West Virginia Mountaineers. If you want to consider Aztecs separately, San Diego State Aztecs. And no, the name Chiefs is not mocking Native American culture. Chiefs are people of power, wisdom, and strength. It's a positive representation. Nor is it different from any of these mascots.
I was just writing down during that the ones that you didn't mention, as it Washington Redskins, obviously now Washington football team. Syracuse Orangemen had to change their team to orange. And I completely forgot about all these college team names. Now, what happened up here was there's a football team in the terrible Canadian Football League called the Edmonton Eskimos. And they actually changed their name recently because it was too offensive. Their sponsor of their stadium thought it was offensive. But when they polled people who are Inuits, so natives from like the really cold climates in Canada, 78% of them were against the name change. And when they created the name, the Edmonton Eskimos, it was actually in conjunction with the very tribe that they were naming it after them. So they've had a close relationship with that same tribe. My question to you is, what is the reaction from people when you point out that there's 50 other teams for about other ethnicities, and then they're complaining about the Kansas City Chiefs or the Redskins?
They always try to make some type of excuse for it. So let's go over some of the excuses they make. Number one, they'll say things like, well, the Knights are not an ethnic group. And my response to that is the Chiefs are not an ethnic group either, right? Like, because they said these things. Like, you said Knights, Trojans, those are cowboys, those are not races, those are not ethnic groups. I'm like, dude, Kansas City Chiefs is the same thing. It's a role in Native American society that some people held, and it's kind of like a cultural reference, right? Same story, same exact story with Knights. That's a role traditionally that was held in past European white societies that is a cultural reference. So that's one thing. The other thing is they tell me that I have just no authority whatsoever to speak on the issue of Native American issues because I'm not Native American, to which my response is I'm actually 1 in 10/24 Native American. Okay. And my evidence to that is my grandma told me I had high cheekbones, and I published a powwow chow cookbook, right?
Wait, did Elizabeth Warren have a native cookbook, or did you make that up?
No, that is actually something she did.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to put that up on screen.
You can Google that. And then, another argument I guess I hear is that it's offensive, right? It's an offensive appropriation. I'm like, I guess I can kind of understand the Redskins, although I'm against changing any of those names because literally once they start realizing they have the power to change names, they're going to change everything. And I'd rather not. But you're talking about chiefs here. You know, that is a positive representation. Chiefs are the leaders of these societies. Chiefs are, you know, people of power and wisdom and strength. How much better can you get than that? I mean, I don't understand what these people really want. And I think you made a great point about was it the Edmonton Eskimos? The same story down here. We have the Florida State Seminoles, and that team is actually, you know, the Seminole tribe actually like works with Florida State University, and I think their mascot is like an actual person from the tribe. And I guarantee you, it's not going to matter because woke white suburban liberals from California, you know, they know better. They know what's best for the Seminoles, right? Not the Seminoles themselves. They are the saviors.
Right.
So
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go to rebelnewsstore.com unless you're trying to oppress us, which I know you are.